So I'm gonna just wait for um, some guests to join really quickly here. I can always edit this after. I want to talk about the universe and answer questions. I have my tarot cards today and my cleansing crystals to help shift energy. And my goal is to talk with those that get led here today about what's happening in our universe, literally universe, and help you all navigate through that. In the meantime, I have up on the screen the October 15th, 2024 cosmic calendar to go over a little bit. I'll go over that in just a second here. First of all, those who are new and do not know me, my name is Lori Marie. I am an astrologer and divine channel and healer. I work with the source energy that is all that is, and with that energy often comes um, knowledge and wisdom that I've been guided to share with you all. My main goal is to show you how to find you and how to navigate this game of life that we chose to experience. Because believe it or not, no matter how crazy it is, you did choose it. Um, Currently, I am writing a book about the universe and how to navigate and understand what is happening because of you, not to you. Many people feel like everything is happening to them, um, but really, that's what's happening. Is you are happening. So, on that note, um, I want to give you the tools to find the pathway to figure the rest out yourself. Basically, jumpstart your self awareness, give you some concepts and ideas that have connected me to Source and kept me connected to Source, and that I literally co create my life with on every second of every day. And so I do think I'm a lot. I'm working on it. So on that note, if you are here, I'm excited to talk to you. If you are not joining in the live stream, then just feel free to listen and message me at whtsursgn@gmail.com if you have any questions that you would like me to answer for you in regards to what we talk about here today. You can find me on Facebook as well under Lori Marie, or you can find me in my group Divine 24. You can also find me through Evolve 24, which is the production company that I share Deep Thynkers Society and Wisdom Beyond Time. And so you can find me on TikTok as well under Lori Marie AZ. So I am just short about 140 followers to go live there. I'd really like to live stream there as well and gain audience. From my perspective, um, everything is energy, and everything flows once there's one connection, just like the domino. And so, even if everybody doesn't join the live, if they hear it and they absorb it, then it's planting a seed, and then eventually it's shared, and it's so on and so on and so forth. And eventually, our collective will expand, and life as we know it will shift. If you have not noticed, life has changed immensely since our boost in this awakening back during COVID. We were all forced to live unlike we'd ever had to live before, and put a lot of us into survival mode and forced us to see some of our shadows. So, on that note, I would like to shift gears a little bit to the chart that you see on the screen. We, astrology is sort of a new trending topic over the last few years, and you hear a lot about retrogrades, and you hear a lot about, aspects that you have no clue, and you hear a lot about the eclipses, and content creators tend to often really exaggerate and overemphasize in order to keep your attention. And none of it is truly alarming, but it does help us navigate this game we call life, and it does help us be aware of what's going on in the cosmos and how it may affect us, so that we could pick and choose how we respond. And with that comes a new level of self awareness. And with self awareness, we begin to pause before we react in life. My challenge right now is that I'm not talking to anyone, that I'm just talking to the camera, and it's a little bit harder. I'm such an energy feeler that I'm used to bouncing off, and all there is here talking is myself. So the universe has been telling me very loudly lately that I need to not only be heard but seen. So here I am. I wrote a blog post on my website, divine24.org. I also shared it on evolve24.org under the safe place, where you can read some posts from myself and my other co hosts who have written blogs. And on the blog, my goal was to help people understand and navigate um, what's being said out there. We hear a lot of people talk about the matrix, and the matrix, and we live in a simulation, and so on and so forth. And in some ways, I find some truth in that, but in other ways, I feel like it's more metaphorical, just like everything in life is metaphorical or symbolic. Really, what we are is a soul, and inside of this soul is a body. The soul actually encompasses the body, it's not inside the body. And the soul encompasses anything that you know brings awareness to it. Everything has consciousness. So, on that note, it brings us back to, source, the divine, the universe, God, Allah, whatever, term is used in your storyline. And source is the collective consciousness. It's all that is. The very first um, thing I ever channeled was through channeled automatic writing. And I was really young. I was in my early 20s. I think I was probably just 21. And I was under the impression that I was channeling something outside of me. I didn't understand at that time I was channeling source. And when I would ask the name, it would say all, and it would just spell ALL, ALL, ALL. And I just got really frustrated because I didn't understand what that meant, but I always referred to it as all. And then, over time, through my spiritual growth and many awakenings, I realize all is source. It's the divine energy within everything. It's literally everything. And only ego is I. And we need that I in order to have this human experience as an individual. But the goal is for us to learn how to navigate. We are multidimensional beings. We and how can I explain that to you so your brain absorbs it? Um, Consciousness is awake right in the here and now. If you're listening to this in the here and now, your consciousness is aware um, and experiencing the humanness through this body. But at the same time, your consciousness is part of the collective of the all, which is source. And so it's experiencing it everywhere, all the time, all at once, in every dimension. So they talk about aliens and beings in other planets and parallel lives and parallel realities and past lives. Well, all any of those things are is is energy that the conscious collective becomes aware of. And so aliens, have consciousness as well. They vibrate at a totally different frequency than humans, and they can go in and out of our realm. So sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they live amongst us and blend in really well. But their consciousness is part of our collective as well. So when I say we're multidimensional beings, it's because we are capable of shifting our awareness to the realities of other places consciousness is aware. So, they talk about shapeshifters, they talk about people that, wake up in other realities or have plant medicine journeys. What's really happening is that the awareness of the consciousness is just shifted. So you could, find yourself on a UFO. You could find yourself in another timeline. You could wake up one morning and life as you know it could be completely different and you can't quite understand why. And it's because you're holding the memory of one consciousness to a consciousness that you're awakened that's very close in vibration to the one that you left. Um, some people do this at will, um, but it explains a lot of things. It explains things such as deja vu. It explains our dreams when we are when this body is in a relaxed state. We, shut off this body to an extent. Sometimes we can be aware of it at the same time. But we shut off the body and we're in such a deep state that we wake up in other consciousness. We wake up in our dreams, and sometimes our dreams are really wacky, and that's because we're in more than one at one time, or it shifts from one to the other, quickly, and so on and so forth. So the universe is literally everything that you become aware of, and it grows and expands, outside of time and space. Like we can't measure it like our human brains want to do. And we can choose everything. We are limitless. We can create everything. Our ego gets in the way of our creating, our young, actually even current uh, conditions, that maybe sometimes stem from young, but stem from our other maybe traumatic experiences, even as adults. Um, they shape us. They choose our beliefs, and whatever we believe is projected out in front of us. If we don't believe it, then we have a choice, and we could choose to, look in a different direction. And a lot of times that can hinder us as well when we choose to look in another direction when things are happening right in front of you. You choose what you see. Energy attention. Energy goes where attention flows. So wherever your focus is, that's what you're going to see. So, um, with that, the universe that you're experiencing um, can be manipulated and changed by you at will. Um, when you're playing video games and you level up, like Mario Brothers, when he hits the mushroom, he gets another life, or he levels up with energy. Or, I mean, we live that experience every day and we don't realize it. But if we can learn to look at life from different perspectives and see the symbolism and everything in front of us, we start to read what's happening inside of us, outside of us. And when we see things that we don't like playing out in front of us, we can sometimes choose to, you know, look past it, or we can choose to look within and figure out, why are we seeing this? What do we need to change? Like, why is our inner self alerting things to us by what's playing out in front of us? So life is not as hard to navigate once you start to wake up to the fact that you have complete control, if you can learn to go within, and if you can learn to look at the things that you don't want to look at. So, my tool on this path has always been astrology. Astrology has shown me the path within. I've used it as a visual tool to show other people their path to go within. And even when they don't know what they're looking at, the conversation we have opens them up to me being able to communicate with them from my understanding of astrology and channel source. There are times where I'm doing a reading or having a conversation, and they're so open to the shift and the change that source is already healing them while we're talking. And if I feel called to it, I'll tell them, they're working on your heart, they're working on, opening your mind, they're working on, helping you with your eyes. And these things that I do in my readings are things that I want to teach you how to do in your universe, in our collective universe. I am writing a book about it, but I feel like it needs to start physically, where we sit and we talk together, where we sit and have deep conversations in groups together. I'm hosting a collective group called Conversations Beyond Borders, where myself and others from different countries, different perspectives, different worlds, all come together with like heart and minds and have conversations on deeper topics. And the goal really is to expand and shift awareness across the globe. And then, who knows what our next generation, will learn from all of this. If we can stop focusing on the fears and start focusing on the true power we have to change the future merely by changing ourselves, then we'll understand how limitless and powerful of a being we really are, just by our awareness and our belief in it. So, right now, if we want to take a look at the astrology of the here and now. The chart I have is pulled up for Arizona time for about 20 minutes ago. And, you know, I'm going to show you some things you may not know, like these little symbols. These are just glyphs that represent each planet that are inside of a wheel. And this wheel is called a chart. And then these little symbols are the sign that the planet is in. And then this chart is cast based on the moment in time. So at the moment that I cast this chart, which was October 15th at 5:39 p.m. here in Santan, Arizona, um, the on the horizon was Libra. The constellation Libra is on the horizon as the sun goes down, and on the opposite side was Aries. And so that starts our pie chart. And currently, the sun is in the sign of Libra, so we're in Libra season. And if you don't know, Libra is one of the very wise signs of the zodiac. Libra is ruled by the heart and goes after justice. The thing with Libra, though, is because they want peace, they get very indecisive on which direction to go at times. We find ourselves in this Libra season really contemplating um, the storyline we're living out right now as a collective, which is a political election here in the United States. If you're listening elsewhere, it is the season where the United States has to decide who their next president will be. Um, and so it's befitting that it's currently in Libra season. When we go to vote, it will be in Scorpio season, which I find really interesting that we vote during Scorpio season because Scorpio is the sign of rebirth, destruction and rebirth, or to be born again. And so we decide or we debate which is the right person to vote on in Libra season, and in Scorpio season, the new president is born in this world, in this timeline. I personally am not a fan of politics. Again, like I said earlier, you know, attention, energy goes where attention flows, and the storyline that in my universe is that politics um, are not very trustworthy. And so I don't feel that my individual energy will change the bigger picture. So I focus on things that I can control, which is my perspective and my positivity and amongst many other things. If you look at the planet closest to Libra in this moment, it's Mercury. Mercury is in Scorpio. That means everybody is in a stage of trying to look below the surface, have deeper conversations, and really try to understand things. In this moment, it happens to be in the seventh house. So we're doing that together with our partnerships, and I'm doing it with you. And then moving up a little bit here, we have Venus, which is also in Scorpio. So our hearts are a little obsessive and a little intense and sensitive. So, but in the eighth house, in this moment, it means that we're taking our hearts and we're really trying to dig below the surface so that Scorpios love very intensely, and the eighth house is a very it is the house of rebirth, and so you know in order it's a time where we can see how we interact in our relationships and reflect on that. Scorpio is the sign that wants to be born again. And so we're healing our hearts. We're working through our partnerships. We're trying to understand why we behave the way we do in our love relationships, including our children and our family and our close friends and so on and so forth. Um, Moving a little further, we have Pluto, which just about to go into the sign of Aquarius, and that's a super exciting time because Pluto will never be in Capricorn again in our lifetime in this storyline. And Capricorn, over the last 16 some odd years, has literally changed our lives. Literally. We are never going to be the same again. Capricorn is the sign of hardship, but Capricorn likes to climb the ladder and achieve. And so, wherever Capricorn and Pluto fell in your chart over the last 16 years, or just look back on the last 16 years of your life, and you will see that you truly are not the person you were before. And the same will go as soon as it enters into Aquarius, except it will be much more interesting in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the planet of spontaneity, uniqueness, technology, um, surprises, on agains, off agains, radical, rebellion, and so on and so forth. So you could almost plan on having a revolution of sorts in any particular area of focus in your chart. Um, you will think uniquely in that area. You will revolt against anything that doesn't feel right to you in that area. You'll want to express yourself uniquely in that area. And Pluto, the planet of transformation, is going to transform you to be your authentic self. One way or another, wherever it falls, it wants you to live fully, authentically, and truly. Being your authentic self is the key to, it's literally the key to surviving this universe. Freeing yourself from worries, and just being who you are at all costs. That the energy of authenticity vibrates so high that it vibrates higher even than the energy of love that you share with your partner, because authenticity is vulnerability. Authenticity is flow. Authenticity is um, pure um, authenticity. Hi, Renee. Glad you're here. Um, so, on that note, Renee, did you want to ask a question about the universe, or did you want to ask a question about something going on in your life? We could pull a chart, or I could pull a card, or I could just channel information off of your energy tonight. While I wait for you to share, I'm going to move on to the next planet here. Um, Pisces, Saturn. This is Saturn. It looks like an H. Is in retrograde in the sign of Pisces right now, and Saturn is the father of the zodiac, the strict father, the structured father, the planet of karma, the karmic father of the zodiac. And Pisces is nothing like Saturn. Pisces is very restricting, and I mean, Saturn is very restricting, and Pisces is very, um, sensitive and feeling, and, the hippie of the zodiac. Um, and then you have Neptune, which is actually technically ruled by Pisces right here, also in Pisces, and it loves being there, but, sharing it with Saturn at this time makes things confusing. You want to be balanced, but you go between hard work and freedom. You go through discipline and realism to the creative mind. So it's kind of like the left and the right brain, both in the sign of Pisces. Um, and then I'll answer that in 1 second, Renee. To wrap up this little area right here, we have tonight the moon is in Aries, and as you the moon tends to be emotional. And so you could plan on energies being fairly high. If you know you commute, I would just watch out for road rage. Make sure that you eat before you drive, so you're not hungry. And just be careful of others who are may not be as aware of you in the moment while you are driving, and whatnot. So angry flare-ups are a big possibility. So if you know angry people, my advice would be to maybe find an alternative person to be around, or keep things really low key and don't hit their triggers if you can. We have three more planets here. Uranus is this little T right here with the bulb at the bottom, is in the sign of Taurus. It's also in retrograde. Pretty soon it will be going into the sign of Gemini, which should be very interesting in regards to the way we use our minds and the way we communicate. We may randomly change the way we communicate. We have Jupiter currently in the sign of Gemini, which is expansion on communicating more. Maybe if you're a salesperson, you're hitting your sales cues. Um, you know, talking more with friends and people, and really looking for your twin. And then finally, we have the troublemaker lately, and until the beginning of the year. This guy right here will be the troublemaker, and that is Mars in the sign of Cancer. Mars is not Mars is an aggressive or a assertive planet, and the sign of Cancer is emotional and moody, and those two together just can create a very sensitive hothead, or very easily frustrated and moody. And we have some challenging aspects to the sun. And then we have an opposition to Pluto. And those are, challenging aspects to be going through at this time. So Renee had wrote in the chat that she doesn't have any particular question. Um, and she's open to any advice or message. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you my favorite crystal. It's a spirit quartz. This is literally, you know, so magical in the sense of communication. It was given to me by somebody who would visit at the shop I used to read at all the time, and he brought it in, and I just like it was perfect. So whenever I do readings, or whenever I am having my podcast, or I need to like have healthy flow of communication, I have my spirit quartz. So what I'm going to do right now, Renee, is I'm going to see what the universe would like for you to know. Um, I'm getting that you are very open, like you're too open, and that a lot of the sounds aren't yours. And I know that some of this might not sound right, so you have to take what feels right and leave the rest, but this is what's coming through. It's telling me that the sounds you're hearing aren't yours, and the thoughts you're feeling are your armor. So the thoughts you're feeling are your armor. It's saying that you're clenching your fists, maybe even your jaw, and that that tension needs to be released. So let's see if we could work on that real quick here. I also see that you need to you need to release the energy. Yeah, that's what it is. You need to release the energy. Overthinking is your enemy right now. Lots of overthinking. Um, you're fighting for independence, but at the same time, like life, life is showing you lots of responsibilities, and it's not that you've never been not responsible. It's that when we strive for independence, um, sometimes we lose sight of the things that we also have to be responsible for. And so you have that inner battle of balance that you have to still trying to clear away the energy in your jaw right now. You have to try to find a balance. Um, if any of that resonates with you, feel free to add it to the chat. If not, we can talk offline. Um, let's see. I'm going to take a minute and give some dead air space so that I could look through some of the chats that I can't see with my shared screen here. Here we go. A little refresh. If you are watching, please feel free to share this live so that others can ask their questions as well. If not, I will continue to talk. I do have some other viewers in some other areas, so feel free to chat. Let me run over to uh, YouTube, Facebook. Again, if you have not followed me on TikTok yet, I am just a 140 followers short. You can find me. Let's see, let me get the correct. It's at Lori Silva 033 or my view, Lori Murray AZ is how you can find me. That's where I post a lot repost a lot of spiritual posts that really vibrate with me, so I can help plant seeds. It's also where I like to do random card drawings, and I think I'm going to do that here in a minute as well as that's where I like to get my creative side out and share my art that I am trying to incorporate and teach through art, teaching mindfulness through art. I am starting to open my Inner Visions art studio here in Arizona out of my garage for the time being. And my goal is connection through community and using art as, you know, teaching creation. Because my ultimate goal is to help shift the universe from consumerism to creation, and what a world we would live in if we were all about creation. I mean, if you allowed yourself just a few minutes to think about it, what would our world look like if we well, right now we predominantly consume, but if everything was just creation, right? What would that world look like? And that is something I will also be talking about in my book that I am writing, all about the universe. I don't have a complete title on it yet, so I'm open to it. Again, if you want to, get a reading or a healing session with me or a coaching session or do some mindful art, you can reach me at divine24.org. Okay, so I think I'm going to do a collective reading right now. This message is going to be for um, anybody who has Scorpio as their sun, their moon, or their rising. Really quickly here. And anybody who vibrates from the energy of being reborn, transformation, rebirth. So the card I drew is the eyes of the eagle. I'll show you that here. And it says rising above the fray. And the thing is that Scorpios at times feel their emotions so much. And this is all sun, moon, rising, even Venus, you know, Scorpios, and then like I said, we currently have Mercury and Venus and Scorpio, and rising above the fray is not easy to do because Scorpios have this um, a mentality of if it hurts me, then I need you to feel it, that it hurts too because I need you to know how serious it is. I need you to know what it feels like so that you understand. Scorpios do not communicate, um, in a logical, grounded way. They communicate in a I'm going to make you feel what I felt kind of way. And so, with the card Eyes of the Eagle rising above the fray, the interesting thing about that is, every sign has more than one, um, you know, symbolism. And the eagle, the phoenix, and the Scorpio all represent the Scorpio. And I think what it's trying to say is that sometimes we have to feel it, but we don't have to force others to feel it too. And we don't need to get revenge on them for allowing you to feel those things. We need to rise above it and see the bigger picture. And that's not easy at times, unless they have some other, well placed planets in their chart for a Scorpio to do. So the message today, for some of you, is to really not feel the need to take control of a situation because you feel it so intensely, but to instead look from a higher perspective and understand that sometimes it's about allowing things to happen. And I'm going to do one more card drawing before I end this. If anybody is visiting any of the live streams, if you comment in the chat box or if you click the link to join the Riverside audience, I can answer any questions you have. You can private message me on Facebook. I can answer your questions that way. You can email me. I am on my email right now at whatyoursign.com, WHTSURSGN@gmail.com. And I can email you any questions you have there. Let's see here. I'm going to pull a card for anybody who has what is spirit telling me right now? What am I getting right now? Anybody who has had any sort of car karma lately, like your car is breaking down, traffic, car accident, traveling, trying to find a car, anything, any kind of car karma is what I'm getting. I'm definitely seeing even a potential car accident or upcoming car accident or something of that nature. So this is definitely specifically for somebody. The card I get is Dances on One Foot, a Balancing Act. What's happening is that often when we get into our cars, we take all our baggage with us. Our cars are sort of an extension of us, like our shoes or our bicycle or, our wheelchairs or, whatever, anything that, makes us mobile. The car is an extension and is often used as a metaphor for our physical bodies. And dance is on one foot balancing act. When we get into our cars, we take all of that baggage with us. And, you know, at other times when we get into the car, that's the only time we have peace and quiet. And so we take that baggage with us. We lose sight of what we're looking at. Somebody cuts us off, domino effect. And we're literally juggling life. We're juggling, all directions. And that's why I think I was seeing car accident. But I'm also looking at the physical body, the way we treat our body, and the physical car, and if the car is not functioning, or if you're missing one, or if you have even you have a brand new car, like that physically represents your physical body. And are you taking care of that car? If that car crash, what's going on in your life that isn't balanced? And so you really need to try and look metaphorically at your particular situation with the car, or the karma piece, and see metaphorically how it plays out with you on a physical nature. um, I feel like specifically there's somebody with a red car that spun out. And if that's you, it's because life is spinning out for you, and red represents, energy, and you are like, you've lost control. Like things have just whirlwind and have lost control for you. So, I think that's the only cards I'm going to pull right now. We are almost at an hour, and I just sort of want to wrap up with a channeled message of, you know, awareness, and reminding you all that we have complete control. The only thing you have to get past is you. You are your only enemy. Um, Everything that plays out in front of you is because of things that are going on within you. When you see obstacles, ask yourself, what do I believe? When something is presented to you, ask yourself, what do I believe about it? Your boss got upset. What do I believe? Is it mine? Is it theirs? Car cuts in front of you. What do I believe? You didn't get the promotion you wanted for. You didn't win the lottery. Somebody keeps asking you to borrow money. Look at the patterns. And then literally ask yourself, what do I believe around that? And sometimes that takes a level of digging, and people don't really want to do the work. And if you don't want to do the work, then you really can't complain about how life is playing out, because the only way that you're going to shift past things is by making yourself aware of them and where they're coming from. And the best tool to do that with is asking yourself, what do I believe around it? So, this is not my last live. I have been getting nudged so very much lately from the universe to talk, and it's not easy to look at the screen and just talk to myself. So I will start inviting people on, and helping the conversation go, and navigating the chat. Again, please add me on TikTok. I only have 140 more people to go, and that will definitely help grow the audience of people that hear, what the universe has to say. So, on that note, I am going to say thank you to those few that did join us today. And I do see there's a couple of people more than normal on the Facebook right now. And if you want to last minute, put anything in the chat that you want to ask, the connection is wide open. I'm more than willing to answer those questions for you. And before I go, I'm going to look over at the other chats and see if there's any messages, any questions in my. Okay, here. So Jason Santos, how you doing? It says, How do I know my rising sun sign? I can tell you your rising sun sign, but your rising sun sign is only known unless if you know your exact birth time. So when you're born, this whatever constellation is on the horizon at the moment of your exact first breath is what your rising sign is. And since Jason and I have had a reading before, I'm going to pull you up on here and tell you what your rising sign is. So, Jason, your rising sign is Libra, and you happen to be a Libra, but Pluto, the planet of transformation, is also in Libra, and they're all in your first house of Libra. So, you are like the epitome of a Libra. And if you don't know what a Libra is, Google Libra Sun or Libra Pluto or Libra in the first house or Pluto conjunct the sun in the first house, you will just be like, wow, you are literally going to learn who you are from this placement. And as you will always shift and grow and shift and grow and shift and grow. And from our last reading, we know that that's what's happening right now is you're already shifting and growing. You say you met a lady and you think she likes you. But that's not weird, so don't worry. We could do more of a private reading on that one since that seems to be the topic lately. But it doesn't surprise me. I think that when we did your last reading, we seen a potential on again, off again dating for you. So I think that that's a start because you will be working a lot on yourself this next year. That is all I see for the chats in Facebook. Nobody else has messaged, and everybody's leaving. So I'm gonna go for now. It's been an hour, and I will be back. So keep your eyes open, and have your questions ready. Have your questions about the universe ready. Have your questions about reality ready. Consciousness. Why we have the challenges we have. Anything. Have them ready for the next live. And if you are not comfortable again, coming to the chat to ask them, feel free to private message me on Facebook or TikTok or email me. And again, you can book a reading at divine24.org. You can check out our podcast at evolve24.org. That is on pause at the moment, but it will be starting up again after the new year. The universe has put me on a big fat pause right now to focus on other things. So, on that note, thank you guys for the ones that did show up. I really appreciate the support, and this has been a learning experience for me because I'm getting outside of my bubble and I'm alone on the camera, and so I went outside my comfort zone for you guys today. So have a great night, and I will see you all again soon.